Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 72. Thank you for joining us for Black Entrepreneur Experience. This is where we shine the light on the most successful Black entrepreneurs in the world. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards, and today I am so humbly honored to have with us Cheryl Sutherland. She's the founder of PleaseNotes. It's an affirmation-filled lifestyle brand. She cultivates three main tools to success: confidence, clarity, and creativity. Welcome, Cheryl.
Hi, thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being a part of Black Entrepreneur Experience. You know, I have given our audience a very brief bio about you. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with us what you'd like us to know about you and your company?
Well, I think what would I like people to know? I'd like people to know that I'm not an extraordinary person. I'm just a regular girl that found her passion and just ran with it. And also the company is really based around you. Like, what is it that you want? And if you've never asked yourself that question, this is the time to do that. Really dig into that and allow yourself to just live yourself and live that expression of yourself. So all of my tools in the line have been built with that purpose, for you to really reconnect with who it is that you really are, delve into the things that you're passionate about, and help you create that in your life here and now. No waiting, no debating, making the magic happen. So I'm just here to support anybody that's ready and willing to do that for themselves.
And you know, Cheryl, you hear that so much about living your best version of you and being authentically you. And this is my own statistic, no one else's statistic. I believe that 80% of individuals, they are living a life of default, not a life of design, which I'm hearing you say. And that life of default is, my mother said I should do this or be a teacher or that, or not really understanding how to unlock that passion and how to be authentically you. Take us on that journey. How did you discover that?
Over a plethora of series of events, I ended up at a point of transition in my life that I feel like a lot of people hit, where it's, do I continue doing something that I know isn't right for me, or do I do something different, and not knowing what that option was. And I think you get to this point where you know that you can't do it anymore, and being willing to allow yourself to dig in, or for myself, dig into like what it was for me that I should be doing or that I felt drawn to. So I actually took a big leap of faith. I quit my job, and that was really different for me because I previously was one of those people that needed to have everything planned out, everything handled. And as a result of doing that, I had a lot in my journal. I started reading a lot and then working a lot with affirmations, which I love. And then as a result of that, the thing that I reconnected with was my love of personal development. Like that, those light bulb moments, those ahas, when people really see that how big of a person that they are and how capable they are and the things that they can actually create. So I knew that that was something that fed me and fed other people. And at one point I was just thinking like, oh, well, wouldn't it be great to have affirmations everywhere? Because I know, even though I've worked quite intensely with affirmations, like you do forget. And that's where my first product came from. And the rest of the line kind of just evolved from there.
Tell us about your line. What is in your entire line of affirmations and statements?
So the signature item is the PleaseNotes journal, and that is amazing. The reason why it's so great is it has this workbook in there that I call the Journal Juice Workbook that gives you the juice for journaling. Now, I have had so much difficulty journaling, and I think it's also because A, it's such a vulnerable space, and B, what is it that I'm supposed to write? Like, I feel like I used to feel really ridiculous just like writing stuff in a journal or in a diary. So this kind of walks people through either if you're a brand new journaler or you're an experienced journaler, just some processes that you can use to give you the juice for journaling. So it goes through stuff like you create your own affirmations, you write out the things that you love about yourself, you write out what you're grateful for, and then you take a look at your life based on like the four sides of the peace of mind square. So spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally. And then you rate yourself like, oh, okay, well, this is where I am. And then you're able to see where you want to go. So you've got a clear point A and then a point B. And then lastly, it asks you, what is it that you haven't allowed yourself to do? Like, what have you not allowed yourself to risk? What do you want to leave behind? So you can really, really connect to the things that are not on the surface. And I feel like in going through that process, you really delve into like the heart of who you are. And of course, every page also has like an inspirational quote or motivational message from somebody that's inspirational and relatable. So I've got like Steph Curry, Michelle Obama, Serena Williams, Bob Proctor, Lisa Nichols, like really amazing people that have done great things in their lives. And I feel provide a source of inspiration that like we did it and then you can do it too. So that's that main piece. And then building out from there, I've got like the sticky notes that have a different affirmation on every page. I've got our mirror clings so that you can put them on your mirrors, on your walls, or any flat surfaces, again, as a reminder of who it is that you really are. My secret favorite is the label of love, which is a dual-sided water bottle label. So on the front, it has a quality that you're working with or you want to reinforce in your life, whether it's abundance, courage, confidence, beauty. And then on the back has a matching affirmation. So as you're seeing it, as other people are seeing it, it's infusing itself into the water. And then of course you're drinking it. So it just kind of brings it all together. And there is a different theme depending on what you're working with or want to work on. So whether it's cheeky, that's a little bit more sarcastic and playful, carefree, if you've been working with some anxiety or just needing to feel more calm and relaxed. And then the confident, which has more messages of like, I am creating one more thing, stuff that's very grounded, confident that way. So there's something there for everyone.
Absolutely. How are you creating the products? Are you having them produced in the States or out of the country?
I have my items sourced multiple different places. So some come from the US, some come from overseas, and then some from Canada.
Okay. And then talk about how someone would, if they're interested in starting this type of business, how do they get started?
Well, I think, and thankfully with the resources that we have, like the internet, like if you're have an idea that you want to create something, you can certainly go through the whole process of searching for people that you'd be able to source to do the design work or to do the manufacturing. And then also, thankfully, with social media, if you see a company that's doing something similar to what you want to do, there's an easy way that you can reach out to the founder and connect with them and have a conversation about like, how did they do it and what steps should you take?
What is a daily or a weekly habit, Cheryl, that you do consistently that is giving you the greatest success?
I think mine would be meditation. I've been doing a lot more and a lot more focused meditation, definitely within the last 2 to 3 months. And there's been a huge shift in my life where there's a lot less anxiety. Things kind of just flow into place. The right people, the right combination of things just happen for me. So definitely one of the biggest resources.
So give us 3 truths you've learned in life or business so far.
It's usually going to take a lot more time and a lot more money than you think. No matter what, your ideas are valid and what you are passionate about is valid. And the last truth would be don't do anything that you're not in love with, because just like a marriage or any relationship, you're going through it. And if you're not willing to give 150%, then there's no point.
You talked about it takes a lot more time, a lot more money. I know you did some creative financing to launch this business. Tell us about that journey.
Definitely. Well, statistics say, especially for female entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs of color, we usually do rely on our own resources, whether it's like a credit card, savings, that sort of stuff. However, at one point when I was thinking about releasing my second item, the journal, that one I didn't want to self-finance. I wanted to do it kind of on a dual with purpose in marketing it and selling it at the same time. So I actually went and I did a crowdfunding campaign through Kickstarter, and that was amazing. It was a lot of work, and it was such an amazing experience to see the people come together, friends, family, and support what it was that I was interested in and that I loved, and they saw the value of the product. So thankfully, with that, I was able to raise $15,000 out of my $10,000 goal. And I think within the first 72 hours, I was 40% to goal. It was a quick ride, and thankfully, people received and loved the product.
What is your biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur?
I think the biggest challenge that I have at this point would be to be okay with being patient with things, having the understanding that everything is already worked out and everything is working out for me, and that I don't have to push to create things and make it happen is different for me. However, I feel like when I spend less energy focused on pushing and making things done and results is when I actually get the best results.
Besides, Cheryl, your successful Kickstarter campaign, what is the biggest achievement that you've had to date in your business?
I actually would have to say, if other than my Kickstarter, that being endorsed by Les Brown, who's amazing, and he's a huge proponent of the personal development field, that was amazing. And being validated in such a way from somebody that knows and understands the value of this work is huge.
And how did that endorsement come? Was it through a relationship or?
Again, God always puts the right people in the right place. So I was actually vendoring at a event down in Orange County, and it was like, oh, he's here this day. And he saw my table, and I talked to him a little bit about who I am and what I do and what this looks like. And he loved it. And so he's like, yeah, put my name on it. And it's kind of been a blessing in disguise for sure.
Cheryl, what is one valuable lesson you wish you knew before starting your business?
I honestly don't think that I have one. I think that as I've gone through and I've learned and I've grown and I've struggled and I've released, that I've learned so much. So I think even when it's like, oh, well, if you could go back to your 10-year-old self, what would you tell her? It's just all like, I wouldn't tell her anything because everything's just been so perfect the way that it's worked out.
Very good. So what is working well for you now in your business?
What's working well is that I have just received some financing that'll help me with outsourcing a lot more things. I have been written up in some really great articles in like Fast Company. I've been in Style. I've been in Huffington Post, which has been really cool. And what else? Things are just working out in like the most amazing way. So, yeah.
Cheryl, who are your top 2 influencers in life and what lessons do they teach you?
My top 2 influencers in life would be, at this point, Oprah Winfrey. And the reason why is I admire how diligent she is about her energy and about keeping the right people around her, about being clear about the things that she wants and being not attached to the outcome, but also knowing that she is a driving force for other people to like live the life that they want to live. So there's her. And then I think after that, I would have to put Abraham Hicks. I've been listening to a lot of Esther Hicks as of late, and it's been a huge game changer of allowing myself to live in that space and build a business from that space. It's been amazing.
Cheryl, if someone wrote a book about you today, what is something that we will learn about you that we don't know?
I think if I had an autobiography, the title of my book would be called The Diary of the Eternal Optimist. Like, I am the biggest optimist, and some people say it's being naive, but I always have the best things happen to me. Like people look at me and they're like, what is your life? And I'm just like, I just have adventures. But that's because I always expect the best things to happen. And that's what always happens.
Absolutely. Is this something that you acquired at a very young age, or when did you recognize this?
This would have to be definitely not something that I acquired at a young age. As a child, I was really introverted, very shy, which is odd to think of now. But I would say in the last 3 to 4 years, especially being in this business, and I mean, again, with business being like a relationship, like I've learned so much from PleaseNotes, and I feel like I've given so much to PleaseNotes at the same time as well. Like just being okay with these things happening, that it's definitely been the last 3 to 4 years that things have kind of popped up for me.
How did you name your business, PleaseNotes?
I was walking through the mall and I think I just shared my idea about the sticky notes with a friend of mine, and he went ballistic. He's just like, oh my gosh, you're going to be on Oprah. Like, this is amazing. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go ahead with this. And I think I saw a sign that said like, please note, or like, please something. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. Please notes is great because when you see like an email or a letter and then at the bottom of it, it says, please note, it's like, pay attention to that. Like, this is important. And then in addition, a love, I feel like when you say please, it's usually like there's giving connotation behind it. There's a certain softness attached to it. So I think allowing people to give to themselves, pay attention to being soft, paying attention to the extra love and all that is kind of just wraps it up really well.
Did you trademark that? And did you do it immediately? If yes?
I'm in the process of doing that, as it usually is like for the first year, you don't really have to worry about it. And now that I'm kind of taking the next big step with my business, I'm definitely going to be doing that.
What is a technology tool or a technology platform that's a must-have for you in managing your business day to day?
A technology platform, I use Buffer a lot for my social media, and then that way it makes it easier for me to have everything planned out and easy to execute.
How do you blend your family, your business, your personal life with your business?
I guess I'm lucky to say that in the best way possible, that my family isn't very, like, we don't live geographically very close to each other. So luckily we speak like maybe like once, twice a week. And therefore it's really allowed myself to have the space to grow as my own person. And I feel like as I've been growing as my individual self and really finding my own identity, when I have these conversations with my friends, with my family, that kind of pours into it. And they see the change in me versus me being affected by them and what they're doing. And then just in regards to having like a real life and like dating and talking to people, like I think everything, there's no work-life balance. Everything coincides at the same time. So just making everything flow.
Shift gears, Cheryl, for a minute. Talk about the worst moment in business and what was your takeaway?
I think a moment in business where I had the most opportunity to grow would be during a campaign that I had filmed last year for my Hustle Kit. And I was really excited for it. I had the right places or people in the right places, that everything just kind of fit together. However, I realized that if I had taken a step back and looked at it in a different way, there's a lot of stuff that I would have changed that would have provided, in my opinion, a better outcome from the result. I think when I look back at it, I was like, oh, I'm doing this out of a force of desperation, or like this has to work, or I really want this to work, instead of playing with it in a fun way. And I think that's the biggest difference into why the results worked out the way that they did.
So imagine talking to that person in the audience and they want to start a business like you are into with the PleaseNotes and a creator. What's 3 tips that you would offer them if they're interested in gaining entrance into your business?
Like into my particular business or into my field?
Into the industry.
If you're looking to get into the personal development industry, congratulations, it's amazing. The first thing is be very clear on who you are and what you are giving. So if you are just like, hey, I'm a coach, I'm good at this, like that's more about you versus about the person or the people that you're looking to serve. So with that, like be very clear on how you want to support people, because that's going to be the main attractor. And then when they decide if you're for them or not. Another great tip would be to, I guess, love yourself enough to say no. There's been a lot of situations that I've been in where the opportunity and the optics look amazing, like working with certain celebrities and big names in personal development. However, if it doesn't feel right, just don't do it. And then also to use your gut. Your gut is the ultimate GPS. It was the original GPS before we had real GPSs. And it will tell you whether or not you should move forward on something or not. And if you feel excited, if you feel happy, if you feel elated about something, do it. If you feel exhausted and confused and have split energy about something, then just don't do it. And it's okay.
What is something that we don't know about your industry as consumers we should know?
The thing with personal development, it's just like anything, right? So if you go to a restaurant and you eat ice cream and you hate that version of their ice cream, that doesn't mean you hate all ice cream, right? So just like you might work with a particular life coach, or you might have used this journal, or you might have worked with or been to this person's seminar, it's not all the same. So feel free to dabble and play and see what aligns best for you based on what it is that you need, and go from there.
You know, Cheryl, one of the things that I find so amazing about what you have done with your business and your brand is you talked about at the beginning of the interview that your journey of losing a job or being transitioning from a job and really realizing your passion. But more importantly, I like how you had, when I was reading your bio and looking at your website, and you hear about PleaseNotes, and it's not just about sticky notes or statements, but how you've turned that into where you classify yourself as personal development. And I think that that's pretty amazing when a lot of people are jumping into the journals. And I've purchased a lot of different journals, and I do see why journals are big businesses in terms of finding that right journal. And even when you were talking about how your journal was put together, and I was working on a book that I had purchased, and it's supposed to be that type of journal. And it's amazing. And you just really kind of pricked my heart to say, okay, Frances, you have to pick that back up again. So the question is, when you're curating and as a creator, that journal, what would you say has been the most, that moment when you're putting that together that you have in your journal, that one that separates you from others, but more importantly, that if you're a type of person, because I journal all the time, and I have like tons of pieces of white paper around my office. What is that thought pattern that you're like, if they get to that moment where they stop, what is going to make you kickstart them again to pick that journal up again?
I think that most people go through ebb and flows. It's kind of like going to the gym. If you've been going to the gym for a while, working with a trainer or just going with friends, after there's usually a point in time where you hit a stride where you're like, you know what, I really enjoy doing this, or I miss it when I don't go there for a day. And then there's some times where you'll go for that stretch of 3 or 4 months where you won't go again. But remembering how great your body felt, how great it felt to be sore, how great it felt to really explore and grow in those places and see definable differences in the way you do your sets and the way that your breathing is, or how you climb the stairs. It's the same way when it comes to journaling. It's in the same way when it comes to meditation. It's just a practice. And I think that when you go back, or if you choose to go back and just read through the things, and it's such a great record of where you were and where you've come. And I think that for me, I'm really excited to look back at these things or have my kids look back at these things and be like, oh my gosh, this is what mom went through, or this is where we're going from. So the best thing I can recommend for somebody that does want to go back or thinking about going back into it is just to start and allow yourself to go from there.
Besides your journal, Cheryl, what book would you recommend and why?
Oh Lord, do I only have to do one or can I do two?
You could do 2 or 3.
Okay, I'll do 3. Besides my journal, I would definitely use, and especially if you're looking to become an entrepreneur and step into that space, the first thing I would like anybody to read is Big Magic. Big Magic was amazing for me because I was so used to coming from that corporate space or working for somebody else and then shifting to becoming a creative entrepreneur. It's a whole different level of expectations. Like you cannot, or you shouldn't, or it's easier if you don't put yourself underneath so much constraints because creativity doesn't grow in certain places. And also just allowing yourself to have that flow is different from, ticking off things or handling widgets. So that was really huge for me. The next one that I loved was The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. I went through a magnificently huge shift in October last year, and basically where everything in my life fell away and I had to rebuild everything again. And during that time, that was one of those moments where it was like, am I doing this right? Like I thought I was listening. I thought I was on the right track. And it was just amazing. And she gives such great processes, such great outlines into what you can actually do to get back into alignment and allow great things to flow into your life again. So that was amazing. And then the third one that I love is actually Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. The reason that I like this is, and I listen to it on audiobook all the time, is because he talks about people and how all these different circumstances came in and allowed them to be so great. So Michael Jordan isn't amazing because he's just Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's amazing because of X, Y, and Z. Or like Steve Jobs, like he's amazing because, at that time, at that tech boom, and then things just aligned for him to be able to have the practices or have the processes in place to be very good at what it is that he's good at. You know what I mean? So where you can also glean the fact that you have that capability to be as amazing in whatever field that you want to because of the time and place and how you built in. So like, as long as you keep moving towards the things that you want, that you have the ability to create that.
You would recommend those books in that order, starting with the Big Magic?
I would definitely do Big Magic first and Outliers all the time. Like you can listen to it whenever. And The Universe Has Your Back before you go to bed, first thing in the morning. It's amazing, amazing, amazing to listen to or read.
What are your goals for the future for your brand and your business, Cheryl?
My goals for PleaseNotes is essentially, I just really want this company to stand out and be amazing and just support a lot of people with doing the things that they want to do. So in doing so, to get it into the hands of more people, I'd love to get my products in the hands of at least 100,000 people. And I would also like to expand it into more of like a speaker series. So where people can come together and exchange conversations and build relationships and share dreams and create mastermind processes and really build themselves up. And then also places where people could have the ability to create the financial or receive financial support, receive mentorship if they are stepping out into an entrepreneurial journey for themselves. Because unfortunately, in schools, we haven't been taught, how to be entrepreneurs or even introduced like mindset or like opportunities like finances or that sort of stuff and how to support people with that.
Cheryl, if you conducted this interview, what is the one question that you would have asked yourself? And I want you to answer that question.
That's a great one. I feel like the best question to ask myself would be, why do I feel like I'm so special or that I'm special enough to be successful? And the reason I pick that is I feel like a lot of people don't think that they're good enough to do the things that they want to do. And for a long time, I felt like I wasn't good enough to do the things that I wanted to do, or that I wasn't worthy enough, or a whole slew of excuses. And the reason that I know that I am good enough, that I deserve this, that I'm worthy of it, that I'm capable of it, is that I would have not received this idea. I would have not received the help and the support and have things fall into place for me the way that they have if I was not good enough or worthy enough. So that's how I know. And I'm trusting and I'm choosing for that to be the way that I live my life.
We're going to move to the part of our interview. It's called the Fun Facts Lightning Round. And I'm going to ask you a series of questions. And I'd like you to give us quick answers. And if there's something that you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready, Cheryl, for the Fun Facts Lightning Round?
I hope so.
All right. The last movie you saw?
Black Panther.
You relaxed doing what?
Meditation.
Your favorite singer or rapper?
Drake.
Your favorite dance song?
Something by Rihanna.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
Tofu.
And your favorite month?
February. It's my birthday.
All right. Absolutely. And happy birthday. Is it belated or?
Well, yeah, it was on the 23rd.
Well, happy belated birthday. I hope you celebrated well.
I did.
Very good. Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience. Tell us before we conclude, what is the best way for our audience to connect with you and to support your business?
To support my business, please visit my Instagram, my Facebook page, like it, follow it, and share some of the affirmations, share some of the things that really align with you, and of course, to purchase it. And then if you decide to pop onto the website, www.pleasenotes.com, please is in please and thank you, notes is in notes of love. And if you use the code BLACK, then you can receive a sweet discount off of your next purchase.
And that discount will last for how long?
For as long as you decide to visit my website.
Nice. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Cheryl, we are so honored to have you on Black Entrepreneur Experience. Again, this is Black Entrepreneur Experience, where we shine the light on the most successful Black entrepreneurs across the globe. And our tagline is, what happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, because we look at Black entrepreneurs as brilliant. They're bold, and we want to shine the light so bright. That is a wrap for us. Cheryl Sutherland from PleaseNotes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.